University. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Mark Egale, our CEO and Director of Aviation, to give you the welcome address and provide FLL updates. Mr. Gale, are you there? And will you come up, sir?
I am here. Good morning, Donna Ann. Thank you. Good morning to everybody. I don't know that anybody is watching this morning where it is afternoon or evening, so hopefully that is a safe bet, but I do want to warmly wish everybody a good morning. I wish this were a different setting. As Donna Ann had alluded to, this is our second forum for this event. The first one was in person, and we very much hope to get back to that venue in the near future. But we are going to wow, I think, our audience today with just a wonderful presentation by a wide variety of individuals, our partners with the rental car industry, OESBD, and many others, to tell you a little bit about the opportunities here at the airport. My role this morning is to tell you a little bit about what's going on at FLL. I'm asked repeatedly, where are we, Mark, as an airport today, and where are we going? Clearly, those who are interested in doing business, in this case, as suppliers to the rental car industry, want to know whether or not our airport is in a good state of recovery, or is it still struggling? To try to help set the stage for that, I think what I'd like to do is to take you back to last year, just pre-pandemic. In 2019, FLL was one of the busiest airports in the United States. High watermark in terms of passenger traffic, 36.7 million passengers, nearly 30 airlines flying through. We were literally busting at the seams. Robust rental car industry, robust concession industry. In April, just after the start of the pandemic, everybody knows that that kind of just dropped off the proverbial cliff. At one point, our commissioners asked me, Mark, what's the airport look like today? We understand that things are pretty bleak. I responded to them by saying, commissioners, I think I have more tumbleweeds running up and down our roadways than I do passengers and vehicles. Our mayor said, Mark, we're in the wrong part of the country for tumbleweeds. My response to him was, that tells you how many passengers and vehicles we have running around on our roadways. We find ourselves a year later. And if you've been through our airport anytime in the last 2 months or so, you know that things have turned, and they are turning around very, very quickly. I was on another call about a week or so ago with a key representative for the airline industry. And they made a very important point when we talk about recovery of the aviation industry. Airlines, rental car agencies, concessions, and yes, airports and everybody in our industry were hit extremely hard. And we're all recovering at a different pace. In airport world, we used to have a saying, and we still do have a saying, if you've seen one airport, you've seen one airport. I changed that to, if you've seen one airport recovery, you've seen one airport recovery. We all will recover differently. But in that meeting with an airline representative, he made a very important comment. This was Mr. Nick Callio of A4A. And he said, recovery is not the same thing as recovered. Clearly, everybody wants to be recovered. We want to put this really horrible piece of our history in our past as fast as we possibly can. And many airports and airlines are doing well in certain segments of the US and internationally, and others maybe not so much. I'm here to report today that I think that FLL is not only doing well in terms of the overall recovery, but we're one of those airports in the nation that is leading the way in terms of recovery. Of course, there's going to be differences in the types of traffic that recover faster, which is going to come slower. And I'll touch upon those just so you know and have a general understanding of where is this FLL airport headed to. Most people know that domestic travel is recovering very quickly. FLL finds itself in a uniquely placed position, we believe, in the country to be situated in a highly populated area, a little over 6 million people in our catchment area. We're largely dominated by low-cost carriers, and low-cost carriers appear to be doing better, at least for now, than some other carriers, particularly legacy carriers. We have a great destination market, sun, sand, beaches. There's a lot of pent-up demand for folks to be able to get out and arrive at a destination like Broward County and enjoy everything that we have to offer here in South Florida. Not everybody is enjoying that same type of recovery. International traffic is running a little bit behind, which is to be expected. Borders for other countries and nations are still tight. We're seeing news each and every night on the TV where you have places like India that are now struggling in the worst way, and we wish them nothing but the best and hope that their recovery comes soon. And if the United States can help, I know that our government will assist them as we move forward. Business travel is also not fully recovered. That's going to take a while. These types of sessions, unfortunately, work a little bit against business recovery, to be honest. But I can tell you, having now been to 2 in-person conference settings, there is a unique pent-up demand as well for the business traveler to get back into the same room with individuals to network and actually conduct business. There are pundits out there that say business travel won't recover for probably years to come. I believe otherwise. I think the recovery will come extremely fast, as early as by the middle of next year. When we add all this up and we take a look at our flight departures that we have today as an airport, we are rapidly approaching the time and the volume that we had pre-pandemic. In fact, our latest forecasts indicate that as early as late May, possibly June, we will hit or exceed the levels of flight departures that we had pre-pandemic. Forecasts also show that we may go above that level for July and August, possibly even into September. And one key thing to remember, we don't even have the cruise traffic back in operation over at our sister agency, Port Everglades. We're very much looking forward to that industry getting back on its feet, and that's only going to make FLL that much stronger. So again, in terms of recovery in our business climate, we do have different rates of recovery. Airlines are going back into a hiring mode. There's an announcement by American Airlines that they're calling back all their pilots this year and will hire additional pilots next year. Spirit Airlines and JetBlue are leading the charge here at FLL in terms of the recovery, and Southwest is certainly not far behind. Our legacy carriers, Delta and United Airlines, for example, have been adding additional flights, largely in response to less business travel, and let's get that leisure travel on board while we have an opportunity. This airport was positioning itself for a great future with a multi-billion-dollar master plan in the offing. I'm asked again, has the pandemic changed where we're going to be with this airport 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? And while I don't have a perfect answer, I can say that as we are going through what I refer to as a gut check, making sure that the forecasts still reflect the aggressive growth that we are anticipating. Did we just take everything over the last 18 months and shift it to the right, and we'll go back to where we were? I think we're going to come close to that, to be honest with you. We still have some work to do. We still want to see our airline, our rental cars, our concession partners all recover fully. But I think in the end, you will see FLL get back on track, build new Terminal 5 coming up here within the next few years, and get on our way to constructing a multi-billion-dollar master plan program that will provide for connection to our airport, our convention center and hotel, an automated people mover system, additional gates, and really start to modernize this facility in a way that not many have been able to envision. But it's always great to dream. We want to make that a reality. I've said this before, that vision without execution is just hallucination. And we're not about hallucination here. We're going to be making things happen. We're very excited that you are part of our program this morning. There is a wonderful team of subject matter experts that are going to be talking to you today, particularly my colleagues at OASBD for sure. My colleague and partner, Sandy Michael McDonald, is the director of OASBD. But I want to thank all our panelists, our airline representatives, and you in particularly for joining us today. Enjoy our program, and we look forward to doing business with you here in the near future. Donna Ann, it's back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gale. And now that you've had a proper welcome, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Donna Ann Knapp, and I will be guiding you through today's program. You've just heard from Mr. Gale that there are big things in store here at FLL. I wanted to give you an idea of what you're in for the rest of the program. We're going to have, as he said, subject matter experts that will talk to you about some of the services that are offered here. FLL is managed by the Broward County Aviation Department and BCAD, as we call it, and BCAD and the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, OESBD, are partners in this event today. And we're hoping that we'll give you some information that will be useful to you as small businesses and show you where you can fit in here in Broward County as a part of our concessions program. In addition to hearing from the subject matter experts on the programs and services that we're offering, you will also get to hear from rental car company representatives here that are operating at FLL and some of the services that they're looking for. They'll also tell you how to do business with them. So stay tuned. We've got some good information here for you. And I would like to, at this time, invite Mr. Sandy Michael McDonald, who is the Director of the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. He is also our Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Liaison Officer and our Airport Concession Disadvantaged Enterprise Liaison Officer. It's a mouthful. He does do a lot, just like Mr. Gale. Mr. McDonald, please address everyone.
Well, thank you, Donna Ann, and thank you for allowing our office to be a part of this opportunity this morning. And thank you, Mark Gale, for all that you do and your team at Fort Lauderdale International Airport, and more importantly, for being the partner that we need, as I briefly describe our role as the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, to ensure that ACDBEs, as well as DBEs, but we're going to focus on ACDBEs, the Airport Concessions Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, businesses have the opportunity to participate in Broward County, specifically aviation's activities. So again, I'm going to share a little bit about our office. Next slide, please, and let you know that who we are is a part of the goals, the vision, and the mission from our county commission. You know, they are assuring that there's genuine business opportunities for the residents, the businesses, and entrepreneurs in Broward, and that they have a chance, if they so choose, to participate, not only in county procurement, but in getting the assistance, the technical assistance to develop and grow their business right here in Broward. We are about creating a vibrant economy and a sustainable system that affords the operations of the county to take place and to make sure that the utilization of small businesses, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, all businesses have a chance to help us in that, but also to flourish. We need businesses, no matter what we do as a county. We need businesses to be successful. Next slide. So one of the things that you should know about us is that we're small business focused. We work with all businesses, over 74,000 businesses right here in Broward County. But we focus on our small businesses. We promote business and growth and job creation. That's what it's about. The more we can do to engage businesses, the more businesses have a chance to add to their portfolio of county procurement, the more opportunity for those businesses to grow, which creates more opportunities for other individuals to get jobs, those with jobs to get better jobs, and those with better jobs who might decide one day to be entrepreneur and start other businesses. We also educate and inspire. We are about technical assistance. We are about developing. So we even have an entrepreneurship program. We can help take individuals and their thoughts of starting a business from concept all the way through to business launch, inclusive of a business plan. And as a county service provider, we're actually a service agency. We actually work with all of the agencies in the county that's looking to procure, looking to buy goods, materials, and services. We want to make sure if there's a chance for any of our certified programs, local, SBE and CBE, or federal, DBE and ACDBE, our job is to make sure anything the county buys, we take a look at setting a goal to make sure that small businesses are utilized. But for the sake of today's conversation, when we're talking about the federal program, anytime Mr. Gale in aviation, anytime Mr. Walton, our transportation director in transit, use federal funds from DOT, from the Department of Transportation, they are then required to work with us to take a look to see if there's a DBE and or ACDBE opportunity for participation. And again, the DBE and the ACDBE program are slightly different. There's certain triggers that relate to each. And you'll hear about some of that later on, as Mark said, from one of our industry experts in our shop. But just know, as a service agency, we work with all the county agencies to make sure, federal or local, if there are small business opportunities, we want to make sure small businesses have those opportunities. Next slide. So you'll have to come back one day and catch the full presentation on the 3 Ps. This is one of my things about certified now what? But the 3 Ps in short, even for our ACDBEs, is understanding the program. You really need to understand, and most ACDBEs are also DBEs, but you need to understand 49 CFR. What is it that the Code of Federal Regulations is actually saying in Part 26 and 23 that deals within the ACDBE as well as the DBE? You need to understand that program, because by understanding that federal program, it puts you in a better position to entertain and know how to navigate the process. The process as an ACDBE, how do I really engage the opportunities? How do I learn more about those presenters today from all the rental car agencies? How do I learn more about Mr. Gale's office and Mr. Flaherty and others who are looking to assure that ACDBEs have an opportunity to participate? How do I learn more down the road, even about their master concessionaire program and the master concessionaires we currently work with? By understanding the program and the requirements as listed in 49 CFR 26 and 23, you then better yourself to navigate the process as an ACDBE of how to engage those who can help you be a part of a contract. And that leads us to the 3rd P, people. From our office, as mentioned, I'm the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Liaison. You're going to hear more from the SNAP. You're going to hear from our certifying agency. You're going to hear from our assistant director. You're going to hear from the business management team at the airport. People, all the different people you need to be aware of, their titles and their roles, and how they could potentially advantage you or make sure you have the information you need to be a successful ACDBE. So again, we do multiple workshops. It might sound as if most of our push is our local program, CBE and SBE, but we try to push just as strong the federal program and most of the workshops that are open for our local program. There's just as much information that our ACDBEs and DBEs could utilize. So we want you to stay in touch with us. We want you to stay engaged. But yes, like today, we want to make sure if you're an ACDBE, you pay close attention to the workshops and the trainings we do to make sure we extend the invitation for you to participate and where you have the information that you need to be successful as you're looking to partner, joint venture, or join any one of our representing agencies or organizations as an ACDBE vendor. Next slide. And that's important because there may be a few of you on this call today that's not certified. This is our current numbers. for our local and our federal program. And if you take a look, ACDBEs, 159 certified in our directorate. So you're going to hear more about our certification opportunity. You're going to hear more about how to get certified. You're going to hear more about the expansion and the utilization of your certification. I hope you know that if you're certified right here in Broward, anything happening in this entire state of Florida, you should be engaging that process. And we want to make sure that if you're not certified, you get back with our office, with our outreach team, or someone like Ms. Roberts you're going to meet today, and you make sure you get all the devil in the details for consideration on how to get certified. But when you take a look, we need more paint. We're open to more businesses getting certified. You heard from Mr. Gale. There's multiple opportunities on the horizon. That's in addition to the opportunities that we have today. So again, the competitive opportunity is here, and we're seeking, we're searching, we're doing outreach for more firms to get certified. Next slide. And as mentioned, this is how we want you to stay in touch with my office, with my team, with my staff. We want you to be a part of our weekly newsletter that comes out every Wednesday. It's always a lot of good information and hot tips on things that are coming up and going forward. And again, social media, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, as well as on YouTube. But again, thank you for joining us today. Hopefully the information that will be shared by the industry experts, as well as the representing rental car agencies, will be of value to you. Hopefully some of you can take the next step to connect those opportunities that will help you not only win a contract, but continuously grow your business, and especially do so right here in Broward County. So again, thanks for joining us today. And I hope all the information will be valuable. And no matter what, stay in touch with our office and others, even if you have additional questions post today's conversation. Thank you. Thanks, Donna.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. So now you've heard about the state of the airport. You've heard about services and the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. Our next speaker that I'm going to invite up, anyone who does any business within the terminals of the airports that has to have a lease, this is one of the people that are in charge of those leases. Mr. Dave Flaherty is the Assistant Director of Business for the Concessions Program here at the Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport. And at this time, I'd like to invite him to come up and address you. Coming up, Mr. Flaherty.
Good morning. Thank you all very much for allowing me to participate in this event. Thank you for joining us for the Supplier Outreach. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about our rental car center here at Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport. Both Mr. McDonald and Mr. Gale gave you some great information. I want to give you some history and some specifics about the rental car center, about FLL, and about the business that occurs at the rental car center, particularly related to this previous 6 months. First of all, originally the rental car center was designed and built and opened in 2005. There were originally 12 brands, 12 different concessionaires there. As you know, over time, family branding was allowed, some new agreements were issued. There are now 14 brands and 7 concessionaires that operate at the airport. Following a few industry changes that happened in 2020, there are now 12 brands and 6 concessionaires operating. Some really interesting information for you about FLL. Going back to 2019, Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport was the 19th ranked US airport by airline passenger traffic. We were also ranked for rental car transactions as 7th in the US. So that shows you that the rental car center at Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport is a robust opportunity for anyone to want to participate in. Also in 2019, 1.7 million annual rental car transactions, which is about 4,700 a day, both in rentals and returns, occurred. Another interesting fact for those interested in wanting to participate here at FLL, the operating revenues are about 40% aeronautical and 60% non-aeronautical. So the non-aeronautical includes rental cars, parking, retail, food and beverage, duty-free, general aviation, ground transportation. Rental cars is second at FLL behind airlines in terms of total annual operating revenues. That's both aeronautical and non-aeronautical combined. And it represents about 20% of FLL's total annual operating revenues. The rental cars are first in terms of non-aeronautical annual operating revenues and represents about 35% of FLL's non-aeronautical annual operating revenues. And for this year, 2021, the 12 brands in the RCC and its fuel facility will pump around 5 million gallons of fuel. It's a pretty interesting fact. If we go to the slides, we want to show you over the last 6 months how business has really increased in this robust facility. The gross revenues for March, $39.5 million. This is a 52% increase, folks, over February. Now, a lot of this is based off of the redefinition of gross revenues, and it now includes Six, Fox, and Ace in the numbers that weren't in last year's. But the other interesting fact about that increase is that we are now at 86% of the March 2019 numbers. So as Mr. Gale identified earlier, very soon we will be at or exceeding the 2019 numbers. If you can go to the next slide, please. For transactions, for March represented 98,500 transactions, which is a 31% increase over February. Again, we're seeing the rental car center business come back. It's robust, it's exciting. If you have an opportunity to go through that building, it is hustling and bustling, and we're really enjoying seeing everything that's going on over there, although we have more to go. If we can go into the next slide, please. Revenue per transaction is at $402. This is also a 17% increase over the February numbers. We go on to the next slide for rental days. March had 545,000 rental days, a 33% increase. You're seeing a steady increase at each of these categories over the February numbers. And the next slide, which is the transactions per day, 3,200 for March, which was a 19% increase over the February numbers. Another interesting fact is the CFCs are just over $2 million, and that is the highest since March 2020. So we're seeing the business really come back. Even in our off-rack business, we're exceeding the numbers in a robust fashion. This is certainly the time to look, to want to be able to participate where opportunities are available. You have the groups that have presented through OESBD and Mr. McDonald, their services. Please look forward to any opportunities they have. If you have any questions, my information will be set out, but we certainly participate your participation in this outreach, and thank you so much for allowing me to participate. Donna, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Flaherty. So now you know who we are, where we are, the status of our economic transactions here at FLL. You've heard about some of the services and the agencies involved in that process. I'm sure by now you're already wondering, how do you then get involved? What's the next step? Our next speaker, Ms. Cheryl E. Roberts, is a small business development supervisor within the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, and she's going to come up now and tell you how you get involved. Ms. Roberts.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'm here to talk to you about DBE and ACDBE certification. You can go to that slide, please. So DBE certification is a federal program. It is based on the person claiming disadvantaged status, whether it's a woman-owned business or a minority-owned business. That's for the DBE and the ACDBE program. There is a difference between the DBE and ACDBE. which is spelled out in this slide. DBE is disadvantaged enterprise, disadvantaged business enterprise. And that certification is a broad and general certification for all types of businesses. The ACDBE, which we're going to talk a lot about today, is actually airport concessions disadvantaged business enterprise. So the application for the certification qualified, well, we review that application for both, for the DBE and ACDBE certification. And most people will get the DBE, but only those who are concessionaires, so that's selling goods and services within the airport, or those that serve those concessionaires. So we're talking today about the airport rental car services. So those companies that service the rental car companies would be considered ACDBE certified firms. For both programs, the eligibility for the programs, you must be at least 51% owned, managed, and controlled by a socially and economically disadvantaged individual. That individual's personal net worth must be less than 1.32 million. That does not include the value of the business, nor does it include the value of your primary residence. Revenue maximums they just raised it actually late last year for the DBE. The revenue maximums now are 26.29 million. And for the ACDBE is 56.42 million. Those are the revenue maximums. Of course, you can earn much less than that and still be qualified for the DBE and ACDBE certification. You must be an independent business, and you must be, for us to evaluate your application, you must be located in Broward County. If you're located in Miami-Dade County, Miami-Dade has their own certification. They're called UCP, their own certification agency. And if you're located in Palm Beach County, you would send your application to Tallahassee, to the Florida Department of Transportation headquarters, and they will determine who will review that application. You must be a citizen or permanent resident of the United States. And as you can see here on this slide, you must be a member of one or more of these designations. Next slide. We won't talk today about the specifics of the certification application process, because we actually have coming up in a week, next week, Thursday, May 6th. I'm going to be there to talk to you about specifics of the application and guide you through step-by-step how to apply for DBE and or ACDBE certification. So please check our website and sign up to watch our next webinar on how to get through the DBE, ACDBE application. And that's it for me. I'm going to leave the rest of the time for the rental car companies. Donna Ann?
Thank you so much, Ms. Roberts. I am actually going to switch hats for a moment. I'm going to try to stitch some of this information that we've heard so far together for you. Again, my name is Donna Ann Knapp, and I am the Small Business Development Specialist at the Broward County Aviation Department. I work directly with BCAD, the Broward County Aviation Department, and the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, OESBD. Today, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the ACDBE program and I guess why it's of benefit to you, because we have a mixed audience. May I have the next slide, please? Essentially, what is the Airport Concession Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, or ACDBE program? You've heard so far about the DBE and the ACDBE programs in Ms. Roberts' presentation, but in terms of our rental car concessions program, we are going to focus mainly on ACDBE. Now, I know we have a mixed audience. Some of you may be ACDBE certified already. And to that I say, woohoo, you're already ahead of the game. There may be some of you that are DBE certified, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Certified. That's also a woohoo to you. It's actually the same application that's used for both certifications, as Ms. Roberts mentioned in her presentation. So if you are DBE certified, it is relatively simple to then become ACDBE certified, unless of course you're involved in what the federal regulations refer to as build out trades. Those build out trades preclude you from being able to participate, but those would be construction related and are not of benefit to the traveling public or the companies serving the traveling public, and that would be why. May I have the next slide, please? I also wanted to mention too, there may be some of you that are neither ACDBE certified or DBE certified, and you're still in the right place. As Ms. Roberts mentioned, there is a certification application to become ACDBE certified. She has an event coming up that I strongly encourage you to register for and become a part of if you're not ACDBE certified and are interested in doing so. It is a national program. It is governed by Title 49 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Parts 23 and 26. Part 23 is specific to the ACDBE program, and Part 26 is specific to the DBE program. They go hand in hand. There are some references that overlap, and so that's why it's the same application for both certifications. So if you're not ACDBE certified or DBE certified, I encourage you to still stick with us and learn more about what we have to offer. When I'm done speaking, I think I'm the last speaker standing in your way between the rental car companies that I'm sure you really came here to hear from. But I wanted to give you a little bit more information, mainly for those of you who are new to the program. The purpose or the objective of the program is to ensure non-discrimination in the award of concession opportunities by recipients of airports, would be the recipients, by recipients of federal grant money. Under the ACDBE program, we do not get grant money from the Federal Aviation Administration. We do, however, have a DBE program. Under the DBE program, that's where we get the money. And I'm sure you've heard that old adage, the golden rule, not the one that says do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. The other golden rule that says he who has the gold makes the rules. In this case, it's the United States Department of Transportation and the FAA's, the Administrative Office under the US DOT, that oversees the entire ACDBE program across the nation. So that's a good trigger for you if you haven't realized it yet. Because it's a federal program, your ACDBE certification is good not only in the state of Florida, if it's not your home state and you're somewhere else in New York and you'd like to come to Florida, we have interstate certification. Because it's a national program, you don't have to start all over again if you're already ACDBE certified, but Ms. Roberts will talk to you more about that. That's just a teaser for her upcoming event. Another objective of the program is to ensure that ACDBEs can compete fairly for opportunities. The program was created also because historically there were certain groups that were disenfranchised from the procurement process and from getting concession leases in airports. So 49 CFR parts 23 and 26 make it more effective for airports to create these opportunities and be flexible in creating the opportunities for small businesses that would otherwise not have an opportunity to do business at the airport. Next slide, please. So why does Broward County have an ACDBE program? Well, as I mentioned before, we get money from the United States Department of Transportation, US DOT, under our DBE program. And under that DBE program, we award grant funds to DBE primes that exceed $250,000. You haven't heard it yet, but I think you'll get a better understanding if you haven't heard it yet, I should say. The car rental concessions program is a moneymaker for the airport. It's based on traveling passengers, and with COVID, we took a hit, as Mr. Gale explained and as Mr. Flaherty explained, but we're hoping that new life will be breathed back into it, and there would be opportunities for small businesses under these agreements. May I have the next slide, please? So this is a teaser. You can see the names of the 6 rental car companies that are operating leases here at the Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport. These companies have agreements with Broward County to operate at FLL. And so the agreement is theirs. They're going to tell you what it is that they need and they're interested in. And that's essentially how you be a part of their team under their agreement. The existing agreements are for 10 years and were awarded in 2019 with an effective date of October 1st. That is the beginning of our fiscal year in the county. It's actually the start of fiscal year 2020. We report the participation of ACDBEs, certified ACDBEs, as those are the only ones that can be counted, to the FAA on an annual basis. So they are watching, Big Brother's always watching. But that is one of the reasons that the Office of Economic and Small Business Development and the Aviation Department work together so well. I'm the compliance specialist here at the airport, and I work very closely with Mr. Gale and Mr. McDonald in ensuring that the oversight of the program is done in accordance with the federal regulations. The current participation goal that we have on all the agreements is 2%. It may seem like a small percentage, but when you think about the volume of work, or the volume, I should say, of passengers that come through the rental car agencies, you'll start to see that 2% of a lot is a lot. The goal that we have, the 2% goal, is based on goods and services expenditures. So it's what the rental car companies buy. That's why you're here. They'd like to see if you can provide them with goods and services that they need. May I have the next slide, please? The way that we track your participation and we report it to the federal government, to the FAA, is the goods and services that you provide as ACDBEs to the rental car companies is divided by the total goods and services expenditures that they have within a fiscal year. And that percentage should equal, and it can exceed, we're always happy when it exceeds 2%. In fiscal year 2020, which is the report that we just submitted to the FAA, the attainment was 3.45, and that was with full raging issues from COVID. So I see hope and promise in terms of that number increasing. And we have good partners in these rental car companies. They are willing to talk to you today about what it is that they need and how you can do business with them. At this time, next slide, please. I would like to invite to address you the representatives from our 6 rental car companies here at FLL. Our first speaker is Mr. Helder Diaz, General Manager of Rome and Ace Rent-A-Car. Mr. Diaz.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for logging in and connecting for the 2021 Rental Car Diversity Outreach. Also, a special thank you to everyone with the Broward County OASPD, as well as everyone involved, which organized and supplied this platform to, well, bring us all together today. My name is Helder Diaz. I'm the General Manager with Ace Rent-A-Car, located at the Fort Lauderdale Airport Rental Car Center. It truly is my honor to have these next few minutes speaking to share some information with you about our company and providing some examples of desired goods and services. We truly hope you will consider, if you have not already done so, becoming ACDBE certified, because just as Donna Ann mentioned, there are so many opportunities available. Now, what I can state firsthand is there are, again, a vast number of opportunities available for your business and ours right here today. One thing that I find amazing is that these types of platforms and initiatives have opened so many doors for several businesses to not only become introduced to each other and start business relationships, but in many instances also create long-term friendships. We're all here today to share in the same common goal, and that goal is you, your business, and more importantly, meeting our future friends. To share a little history of Ace Rent-A-Car, Ace first launched in 1986 in Indianapolis, and today is now comprised of over 300 locations in over 45 countries. Every Ace location is independently owned and operated within the areas which we are assigned. Our specific ACE locations are locally owned and operated, with most of our executive team living right here in South Florida. Our local footprint consists of our airport location at the Rental Car Center, as well as a location servicing Port Everglades, which will be operating hopefully in the very near future. To offer some examples of which we are looking to start business relationships and, again, friendships, we are looking for managed IT services to help assist in staying ahead on top of security protocols in ever-changing electronic environment. Power door maintenance. I mean, have you ever walked into a business with sliding doors that just don't open fast enough? I have. We're also looking for air conditioning and HVAC contractors. Here at the airport, we actually have two separate AC units, commercial AC units, that require normal preventative maintenance. And we would love to enter into a contract with an ACDBE certified contractor. Another example is printing services. We have items printed in large quantities, as well as general signage for both temporary and permanent use. There's always going to be a need for all levels of automotive supplies, whether it be tires, auto parts, or even specific items such as tire mounting and balancing equipment, or just general preventative maintenance for that specific equipment. And of all things, we all need chemical cleaners, drums of car wash, soap, degreaser, window cleaner, deodorizers, etc., including just general detailing supplies, which is part of our business. So we love meeting new people every day, and I can't wait to meet you. Thank you so much for listening. Donna Ann, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Sorry, there was a delay in the audio. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Bill Hicks, Regional Automotive Fleet Services Manager with Avis Budget and Payless. Mr. Hicks?
Good afternoon. Good morning. Thank you for this time. Avis Budget definitely enjoys doing business with ACDBE companies. My name is Bill Hicks. As you stated, I'm the Regional Supply Chain Manager for Florida, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. If you could go to our next slide, please. One more. Our diverse program is a two-pronged program. It's a ACDB airport compliance program, as well as a corporate supply chain diverse program. Certified suppliers must register, as it shows on our link here at our abg./supplier divert track website. All questions regarding our supply divisor, I apologize. And for questions need to go to Chris Button and Sydney Prizio. Next slide. Back one more. Some of the things that we do look for is automotive body repair, automotive detailing, landscaping, locksmiths for cars, locksmiths for our buildings, and pest controls. Some of the products that are serviced by the supply chain management team and procurement managers is fuel, motor oil, windshield washer fluid, and vehicle cleaning and sanitizing. All questions should be directed through Sydney Pertiers. His email is also here on our slide for you. Next slide. The way that we buy is we buy on an as-need basis, unless we have a national or regional contract, which our managers for our supply chain and airports go directly through our ABG corporate procurement team, which is in Parsippany, New Jersey. ABG provides business opportunities for certified diverse corporations that goes through our supply chain and our procurement team. Airport locations and procurement supply chain, go through these certifications to find the right supplier for us. The process, all certified diverse suppliers must register online on our Divert Track software system. Any and all Divert certifications need to be uploaded into the database and kept current. We routinely check the database and use and seek the certifications for the suppliers and the business opportunities. Again, the link is abg/suppliers.diverttrack.com. Again, thank you for the time, and we look forward to doing business with you guys. Diane, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hicks. At this time, I'd like to invite our third rental car representative, Ms. Danine Hammett. She's the Property Development and Facilities Manager for Enterprise, Alamo, and National Rent-A-Car. Ms. Hammett?
Good morning. My name is Danine Hammett. I'm the Property Development and Facilities Manager for Enterprise Holdings. So Enterprise Holdings consists of 3 brands. We have our Enterprise brand, Alamo, and National. Next slide, please. If you could just go through the transitions, please. There's 2 more. So our company was founded in 1957 by Jack Taylor. It's currently and still is run as a family-owned business by his granddaughter, Christy Taylor, who's our current president and CEO of the company. On a local leadership level, our regional vice president is Jason Nissan, and he oversees our Fort Lauderdale area as well as North Miami. Next slide, please. So through Enterprise Holdings businesses, through our Enterprise brand, we do have different business segments. We have our car rental division, our truck rental, exotic car collection, our car share, our ride share, our Zimride, and car sales, as well as our fleet management division is also run under our Enterprise brand. Next slide, please. So we always have a local commitment in every group that we have throughout our company. And on a local level, our groups are managed through a GM/VP. Our purchasing decisions are made locally by team members empowered to establish relationships and seek value for our customers. We always participate in events such like these to always seek for opportunities to build new partnerships. And we measure efforts and results of our operating groups in an effort to meet and exceed goals and standards we have set for ourselves to positively impact our communities that we serve. Next slide, please. So some local opportunities that we'd like to hopefully build partnerships in with new vendors would be through construction, garage equipment and repair, HVAC, janitorial services, locksmiths, pest control, plumbing, electricians, sign installation, and landscaping. Next slide. So we're always looking for new opportunities and new partnerships. So I'm excited to see who I get to meet today, and I do appreciate your time and for letting me be a speaker in this event and everything that we have to come forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Hammett. I see that there's some questions coming in the Q&A box. I just wanted to let everyone know we will be addressing all questions if they haven't already been answered. I saw that some of them are being answered at the end of the rental car representatives presentations. So we are monitoring the Q&A box and we will be having a Q&A session shortly. I'd like to invite our next rental car representative, Mr. Michael Gloud. He's the general manager for Fox Rent-A-Car, to address you now. Mr.
Can everyone hear me?
Perfect. We can hear you now.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here and thank you for the invitation. My name is Michael Gloud. I'm the general manager of Fox Rent-A-Car, one of the smaller car rental companies here at the Fort Lauderdale Airport. Been with the company about 4.5 years. Fox has been around about 35 years, privately owned until a year and a half ago, where a big company from Europe called Europcar, ironically, bought Fox Rent-A-Car and saved us from ourselves. and they're based out of Paris, but we still operate quite autonomously over here in the States. There's about 1,000 to 1,200 cars in the Fort Lauderdale Airport with about 50 employees, and yeah, and growing. So most of the procurement here goes to myself and the Director of Compliance, Mary Lockhart. So all the inquiries start with me and then funnel through her and her assistant. We are very ambitious about bringing on ACDBs. It makes up our community, and that's really who we want doing the vast majority of our business with. So the more of them that are out there, the more we can use, and I'm sure I speak for all the car rental companies. For the most part, the things that we are looking for are carpet cleaning, mechanical shops, body shops, vehicle detail, landscaping is a big one, general janitorial. Another monster is drive services. Anybody that has a drive service, all of our deliveries will be inside the state of Florida, in between locations. Pest control is a big one for us. Signs and printing, which you've heard already today, as well as tire services. We spend a lot of money on tires and would love to have an ACDB working with us as a partner. So you'll be provided my email address, and don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here Monday through Friday from sundown, or before sun comes up, to almost sundown. So you can ask for me right here at the counter. Don't come on a Thursday or Friday, but on any other day, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm right here, okay? Thank you so much, Donna Ann, and everybody else there.
Sorry, there was a brief delay. Okay, can you hear me? Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Gold. I'd like to invite our fifth rental car representative, Ms. Renee Perkins. She is the administrative manager for Hertz, Dollar, and Thrifty Rent-A-Car. Ms. Perkins? We'll just give Ms. Perkins a minute.
You can hear me now?
I can. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Renee Perkins. I've been with Hertz Dollar Thrifty for over 17 years. And I look forward to working with all of you vendors that are out there. If you can go to the next slide, please. My agenda today would be our commitment, what we buy and how, doing business with Hertz procurement process, spend data, and Hertz contacts. Next slide, please. The Hertz Corporation represents 3 brands. It's committed to the growth of minority women's owned disadvantaged businesses, enterprises. Hertz is both proud of and encouraged by the continued contribution we receive from our DBEs and our ACDBE suppliers. We will continue our long-standing commitments to suppliers diversity by continued engagement in the following: creating opportunities, corporate-wide training, reporting, staying engaged, and outreach events. Next slide, please. What and how we buy. As you can see, we have a long list here. And we look forward, and I hope that a lot of you out there can help us out with this. We have bulk fuel, car wash, body shops, janitorial services and supplies, adjusters and appraisals, automobile parts, automobile repairs, collision, paint shops, auto detailing, towing and transportation. We have regional and local purchasing. Hirsch is committed to providing opportunities to DBEs and ACDBEs to increase our partnership. Next slide. To participate in the Future Bids event, please visit our supplier diversity page. As you can see, the link is there. I think all of you got this slide presentation. If awarded a bid and depending on the scope and scale of the goods and or service being purchased, the procurement process generally consists of the following steps. You need to provide a signed W-9, complete a supplier setup form with information about your company, providing a copy of your ACDBE certification, signing a master goods service agreement, an applicable statement of work or price sheet, utilizing a purchase order for invoicing, meeting certain insurance requirements. Next slide, please. As you can see, variation between 2019 and 2020, but we are on the road right now. Business is booming. Lines are long. We're looking forward to doing business with you. Thanks so much for listening to me today and have a fantastic day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Perkins. At this time, I would like to invite the sixth of our rental car speakers. If I'm not mistaken, Pam, if you can hear me, that may need to be advanced. One more. Thank you so much. A change in the lineup, but we do have with us Mr. Eddie Santiago. He is the general manager for Sixt, and he's going to be addressing you now. Mr. Santiago?
Hello, good morning, everyone. So my name is Eddie. I'm with Sixt Rent-A-Car here in Fort Lauderdale. Been with the company since 2016, so about 5 years now. And I've been at the airport since December. I've had a great experience so far, and I look forward to meeting all of you at some point. Next slide, please. So I want to give you a brief introduction to Sixt USA, where we started in business, how we started here in the US, and where we are now. Next slide, please. So we have a big footprint around the world, as you can see here. We're in all the countries in the orange color. That's about 110 countries worldwide. Next slide, please. And this is a timeline of the history of Sixt. We started in 1912. The company was established by Martin Sixt. In 2011, we entered the USA with our first location in Miami International Airport. And we joined Fort Lauderdale Airport on site right as the pandemic began in January 2020. Next slide, please. We currently have availability in 30 airports and over 50 downtown locations. Our goal is to continue to grow in the large airports, and we had additional plans in 2020, as you can see here, to add 14 new airport locations. That did happen amazingly, even in the middle of the pandemic, where we took over some advantage locations like in New York, Boston, and other places. Next slide, please. So this is an additional detail of our airport locations in the US. And if you've never been to one of our locations, this is examples of what they look like, both on airport and off airport. Our brand is a premium brand, so we want to make sure that we give our customers the premium experience, not only with the vehicles that we carry, but with the service that we provide. Next slide, please. So here you'll find the products and services that we purchase locally. Most importantly, what we now is a drive service. We do need pest control, towing and roadside assistance, gate repairs, locksmith, child seats, tires, plumbing, landscaping, office supplies, janitorial services, among others. Next slide, please. So the process for becoming a certified vendor with Sixt requires three things. You must provide a W-9 and ACH forms. You must provide a certificate of insurance, and you also must provide ACDBE certification if applicable. And the next slide here, you'll see some examples of the forms that we need. If you can go to the next slide, please. So this is an example of the W-9 form, and to the right is an example of our 6 internal ACH form, both needed for the process. Next slide, please. And that's what we have. If there's any questions, please let me know. I'm always available here at the airport, and I look forward to meeting you all once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Santiago. At this time, if you have not already started to do so, we are about to transition into our Q&A segment. I invite you, please, to enter any questions that you may have from any of the speakers that you've heard from so far, Broward County agency experts, as well as the rental car representatives here. Now is the perfect opportunity to get any questions that you have about the process, about doing business with them. We're going to ask you to do a very brief survey poll, but I'm going to introduce the person who is going to be facilitating the next section of our program, and that is the right hand of Mr. McDonald. She is the Assistant Director for the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, Maribel Feliciano.
Good morning. Thank you, Donna Ann. I'm Maribel Feliciano. I'm the Assistant Director with the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. I hope you all have enjoyed the excellent program we have for you this morning. Please stay with us because now we're going to move into the Q&A portion of our program. You will see now as part of on your screen a survey. If you can please take a few seconds to respond to those questions. We really value your feedback and we want to know how we can improve our programming. So simply answer some of these questions. It will only take you a few seconds to provide the information to us. I want to thank all our car rental representatives for participating on our session as well. Also, please stay with us because now we're going to have the Q&A portion. So if you can please respond to those survey questions. Now we're going to start. We have a very active audience this morning. We have some really good questions. We started answering some of those already. Our first question today was where we can find information about 49 CFR 26 and 23. And we provided the link to our website where you can find that information. If you go to our OESBD website, which again, you will email to all of you after the program, you'll be able to see the link to our federal program, the eligibility requirements of our federal program, and CFR 26 and 23. That was our first question. If you can please type any questions you may have on the Q&A portion of our call, that will be excellent because we'll start answering the questions now. The other question we have, and I hope Cheryl is ready for, we have a lot of questions related to certification. So our first question is, if a business is already DBE certified through Broward County, but also qualifies as ACDBE, how do I update my certification to add ACDBE? Cheryl?
Just send me an email at chroberts@broward.org. Tell me the name of your firm and that you would like to add ACDBE to your certification. I will make sure that your the services you provide are ACDBE qualifiable, and then I'll just add it. I'll click the box. If you are located in Miami-Dade or Palm Beach County, I have no control over your profile in the directory. You'll have to contact those agencies. Again, Palm Beach County goes through the FDOT headquarters in Tallahassee. But if you're in Broward County and we are in control of your file, it's really no problem to add the ACDBE. I just have to make sure through a couple of questions that you are certifiable for ACDBE.
Thank you, Cheryl, for that information. The next question is, if we are ACDBE certified in Miami-Dade, do we need a Broward ACDBE certification in Broward as well? Cheryl.
No, you do not. Once you're certified in the state of Florida, you're certified throughout the state of Florida.
Thank you. The next question. We have been ACDBE and DBE certified for over 2 years. We haven't been able to engage with any of the car rental companies. How do we find out more information about opportunities to work with them? We do uniforms and promotional products. We are going to have an opportunity today after the Q&A session for a meet and greet where you'll be able to connect with all these representatives that we have from the car rental companies. But now I'll open it up for some of our representatives, maybe David and maybe some of our car rental companies wants to provide some preliminary information related to how to engage with our rental car companies.
Maribel, why don't I start feeling that one? One of the ways that you can get involved, rental car companies will tell you more detail, as Maribel said, in the one-on-one rooms. Today is your really big opportunity and the best chance you'll have. Tell them what you do, how you'll be a valuable part of their team. They don't know you yet. And that's the benefit of this entire process. You can introduce yourself, not only by saying, hey, this is what I do and who I am. Have you done this before for other airports? Do you have other clients? Do you have the capacity, if they take you on, to provide it for their entire uniform for their employees? You know, they'll need a little bit more information. So I think the one-on-one would be a really good opportunity where you can segue into maybe if you're a good fit, do you have the capacity? And are you willing, ready, and able to step up with whatever timeline it is that they would need? So I encourage you, once we're done with the Q&A, you will be able to propel yourself, move at your own will to different rooms. And we'll tell you how you're going to do that in just a minute, but hopefully that helps a little bit to answer your question.
Thank you, Donna Ann. We'll move into the next question because again, during the meet and greet, you'll be able to speak one-on-one with each one of the companies and you'll be able to obtain more information. The next question we have is, what is an interstate certification? Cheryl.
Okay, so real quick, without going into a lot of details, because I can do that in our breakout room. Interstate certification is, once you're certified in one state, you can get certified in another state simply by submitting the documents that the other state requires you to do. For us, our requirements are that you submit your original application, the last 3 years of tax returns, both personal and for the firm, your financial statement, so we want to see the personal net worth statement, and your resume. And then we build the file and we make you certifiable in the state of Florida. Other states have different requirements, some more, some less. But what will happen is once you submit an application, your application to us, letting us know you want to be certified in Florida, we contact your home state. So if your home state is Georgia, we'll contact Georgia and we'll ask for the site visit report and any analysis of your firm that they'd like to give us. Also, you can only be certified under the NAICS codes that your home state gives you. So if you want to add a NAICS code, you have to add that NAICS code through your home state and then we'll add it. I can get into more detail in the breakout session, but that's basically interstate certification.
Thank you, Cheryl. And as Cheryl indicated, the breakout sessions are going to include our 6 rental car companies, and we're going to have another breakout session also for our certification questions. So we'll have 7 total, and you'll be able to move from one session to another as you get your questions answered. The next question I have is, so do we assist the rental car companies meeting the goal? And I'm sure they're referring to the ACDBE goal. Donna Ann spoke about this a little bit. Donna Ann, can you please expand how ACDBE companies assist the rental car companies meeting the goal?
Yes, of course. Thank you. First of all, the reason that we need you to be ACDBE certified in order to be counted towards the goal is because it's a requirement of the program. If you're DBE, you can do work for the rental car companies, but it won't be counted. The 2% that's in place is essentially, we're expecting that 2% of all the goods and services expenditures that these rental car companies make will be made with ACDBE companies. Now, does that mean it's an automatic? I will have to get 2% of Fox's goods and services money, or I will have to get 2% of, enterprise or SIX money? Not exactly. You get paid for the services that you provide. So if you have a contract or an agreement with one of these companies, whatever they pay to you as an ACDBE firm, provided it's a service that's eligible to be counted. You may remember I said earlier, construction-related services, such as the build-out of their facilities, do not count. Yes, the payments that they make to you are factored into the calculation of meeting the goal. I'm sorry, Mike, I saw that you're unmuted. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything or it was just perchance that you're unmuted. Okay, thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Donna. The next one is somebody was trying to click on the link that we posted on the answers related to the CFRs. I went ahead and copied the link again, and but maybe Vanetta, if you can provide the link on the chat, maybe that also can be helpful. But definitely we'll email you after our workshop information about our website and the links to all the information that we're discussing today. The next question I have here is to all the rental car representative. Any chance to provide PPE? Do you have a need for PPE? And again, this is for my rental car representatives. Do you have a need for PPE? Mike, Bill?
Yes.
Yes.
Fox Rental Car does.
Yes.
There's always a need
Yeah,
for-
6 does as well.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is yes, most of them, yes, to answer your question related to PPE. The next question is, many of the agencies mentioned locksmith services. Do they also use or need access control, video surveillance, and related electronic security services and equipment? And again, this is for my rental car representatives.
We at ACE are actually in the process of looking for video surveillance equipment. So this would be a perfect opportunity to have a discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Mr. Santiago or other?
At the moment, we already have a provider at 6th.
Thank you.
We have a provider as well.
Okay, thank
National known.
Arch Dollar Thrifty already have a provider.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question. We are a DBE who provides professional services. We would be interested in connecting with you to learn how we can connect with you to provide to your human resources department. Is this possible? And again, this is for my car rental companies. What will be the process for professional services?
I think there a little bit more information on the type of professional services. Was
Yes,
anything
I think
additional?
they spoke about human resources related services. Is that something you already have in-house?
Yeah, for 6 Rental Car, we already have that in-house.
Okay. Okay, moving to the next question. On fuel, are the rental car companies looking for transport or tank work, tank wagon work?
No.
Dave, you may want to chime in on this, but I think Broward County has a fuel facilities management agreement in place right now where that's handled separately. Mr. Flaherty, are you still listening? He may have
Yes,
been tied
yes,
up.
Donna, and
Okay.
I'm here. Yes, that fuel facility agreement will be going in place soon. So, yeah, would be taken off the table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. The next question, if the business is located in Palm Beach County and originally certified DBE by Broward OSBD, do I go back to Broward or do I now need to go through Tallahassee?
No, our agreement with Tallahassee was that firms that were already certified through Broward County will remain in control in Broward County. So your renewals or any kind of changes that you want to make, like NAICS codes added, would come to us. If we already hold your certification file, we continue to do that. It's new firms or new applicants that have to go to Tallahassee.
Thank you, Cheryl. I have a lot of questions, so this is scrolling really fast. We have a very active audience today. Thank you for all your questions. Next question, any news for electrical maintenance? And again, this is for my rental car companies. Electrical maintenance, do you need?
I'm going to preface that with an it depends.
Okay.
If it's electrical maintenance, for example, for a neon sign at the front that says Donna Ann Knapp rent a car, that's different from, say, doing electrical services, which would be considered a part of their build out services. So it depends. Electrical is one of those gray areas. It's allowed under advertising, which can also be considered a concession agreement, but it depends on exactly the service being provided.
And again, what I would suggest is during the meet and greet, I think that will be an excellent portion for you to discuss your specific questions related to those services that you provide. The next question is, do you have insurance needs or notary services needs?
No.
For my car rental representatives?
No.
Thank you.
Fox uses notary services, but pretty sparingly. I mean, obviously we're a smaller company, but we only use notary 10 times a year, maybe.
So minimal or already handled in-house. Thank you. Next question. Does the car rental company have a need for electrical facility maintenance? I think we already answered that question. The next question I have, and my questions are moving really fast. 1 second. How I check if my company is still certified?
The FDOT directory has a list of all certified firms. You can search the FDOT directory, and if your firm is there and it says DBE, then you are DBE certified. But from that question, it sounds like you may have let your certification lapse. If that's the case, please contact me if you're a Broward County firm. Again, my email is chroberts@broward.org, and we can discuss, personally one-on-one. What you can do to bring your certification back up to speed.
Thank you, Cheryl. The next question is related to printing services. We have a company that provides printing and branding solutions. They are a DBE and an ACDBE certified vendor in Broward County. And they want to know if you have any printing or promotional projects needs throughout the year, or if it's more like a one-time need for our rental car representatives.
Well, with ACE itself, we do have certain needs throughout the course of the year for different items, different seasons, and different holidays with handouts. So we do have certainly do have printing needs for signage, as well as large quantities of just normal copies for handouts that we just don't have the equipment or the space to house that.
Huh?
That will perfect relation.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. the next question we have is, are the rental car companies wanting to fulfill their ACDB requirements from this session only, or are you seeking to fulfill throughout the year to fill the requirements of the program?
Throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for long-term business relationships and friendships. You know? So there's a long-term for the entire duration going forward.
Thank you.
May I also
And that is
add
our
something?
goal. Go ahead, Danae. That is our goal, that you have the opportunity to meet and network with our car rental representatives and build relationships to continue to provide.
I know that looked really funny for everybody, but I'm in a room with a motion sensor. I just had to wave for a minute so it recognized I was still in the room. What I was trying to say was currently all the rental car companies are utilizing ACDBEs under their agreements. There isn't one that doesn't have any. As we mentioned before, there's a 2% participation goal on each agreement. Now, what they're trying to do with the event today is supplement that need. They may see long-term, and I believe there was a link that was sent out with the invitation for this event, but you can definitely talk to them when you're in their rooms and say, well, what are you looking for? This is what I do, and see if that's a good fit. It might not be the best fit for one. You just saw one of the rental car companies wanted something for printing, whereas some didn't. So there are ACDBEs now on their team. They're looking for specific services, or maybe even some services they hadn't thought of before, to have right now to continue meeting the goal, not just this year, but for the 10 years of their here at FLL. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna Ann. And I think I'm going to take a couple of more questions because we want to keep you all on time, and we want to give you time to be able to move into the breakout rooms to ask individual questions. So I'm going to ask maybe one more question before we transition into the breakout rooms. How soon are these requirements needed? Within the next 30 days, within the next 60 days? And I think we just answered that question, right? Some of the needs are going to be, within the next month or two, but we're also looking to build relationships, right? We want our ACDBEs to network and establish those relationships with our rental car companies in the future. So this is what we're going to do now. We're going to give you an opportunity to join the breakout sessions, where we're going to have 7 of them. We're going to have 6 for each one of the rental car companies, and then we're going to have 1 for certification, where Cheryl is going to be there to be able to answer any questions you may have related to the certification program. You will also be able to move from one breakout session to another, so you'll have the opportunity to meet all of them and ask individual questions. So I know we were not able to answer all your individual questions, but this is your opportunity to do that, to be able to get your answers. The way we're gonna do this, if you go to the chat, there's gonna be a link on the chat. If you can click on the link, you'll be able to go to the breakout sessions. And then when you are part of the breakout sessions, you'll be able to see a button that has breakout sessions or opportunity to move to other sessions. And I'll let Donna Ann or another one of my, maybe Savika or Bonetta, basically let us know what exactly. So basically, you'll be able to click on the chat again to go and join the breakout sessions. We are going to have staff on the sessions to assist you through the process. If you have questions on how to move to another session, we're gonna have facilitators in each one of the sessions to answer any questions you may have if you have challenges navigating the breakout sessions. But we also have here the information. Again, the same link, here's the meeting ID and the passcode. But again, if you go to the chat, click on the link that you will see on the chat, you will be able to automatically transition into the breakout sessions, and then you can select which one of the sessions you want to join first.
Thank you, Maribel. I just want to chime in really quickly. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tiana McCall, and I'm the Community Relations and Outreach Manager. As Ms. Feliciano mentioned, if you look at the chat right now, you should see in the chat, it says join Zoom meeting. Don't click the link just yet. I want to make sure that you understand what to expect. So you're going to click that link when we tell you to click the link. We provided the meeting ID for you just in case, but really all you're going to need is that passcode 2021, which is the year. So you should be able to remember that. When we tell you to go ahead and make that transition, you will click that link that is currently in the chat. It's going to ask you to join. So if you want to leave this meeting and join the next, and you want to select that, it's going to ask you for the passcode 2021. It's going to transition you into another room where we're going to meet you all there and assist you with then moving around as if you were in a live booth, so that you can go from room to room at your leisure to speak with each of the representatives and ask any specific questions you have, provide your contact information and the services you provide in the chat in those respective rooms to allow that one-on-one interaction, and so you can begin to build those relationships that Maribel just mentioned. So at this time, staff, if we are ready. Donna Ann, are we ready?
We are ready. Just as a heads up to everyone, when you